Costa Mesa Academy, Allison Shattuck, Esquire.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, little lady. This is an odd day for Alice and I. Don't you feel like weird right now?
I feel like exhausted.
Yeah, it's this weird thing. I mean, I feel fine, but we got up this morning and then, with the normal weekend, Sunday, whatever, broken sleep thing, and we were fine. But then we didn't eat anything at all, and then we went and had lunch at noon.
Are you gonna keep going, or should I fill?
I just got a. Well, you can, when you hear silence, you can just fill too. You don't have to, make a proposal or request.
But I don't want to interrupt because sometimes your long pauses are
Dave
actually
on
just
Twitter
part
says,
of
"Will
your
Alice
delivery."
provide a dramatic reading of Captain Underpants?" I don't get it. What does that mean?
I don't know what it means.
What is Captain Underpants? Is that a kid's
It's
movie?
a kid's book series. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
Is that your adroit voice? Is that what that is? Is adroit the word?
What are you trying to say?
Your voice where you speak like this.
I say adroit, but I mean.
Oh yeah, you are.
Okay.
I'll have this discussion with somebody down to earth. So.
Okay, go for it.
So anyway, we didn't eat anything, and then we went out to dinner at a great. How's your cough button coming? Good?
Oh, I forgot about my cough button. I apologize.
Go ahead, hit it now. At a great. What was the restaurant we went to? Master McNabb's or something?
Master McGrath's.
Master McGrath's.
Named after the greatest racing greyhound of all time.
Yeah, who raced in Seabrook right next to it. And it was delicious. Delicious. And Alice had this gorgeous, like Eggs Benedict thing. It was gorgeous. And I had a bone-in ribeye with eggs. And ridiculous. And we have both had, and this is over the course of probably an hour and a half, we had 2 Bloody Marys each.
Yep.
And by the way, this place is very affordable. I highly recommend it. But I felt like after that, when we were driving home, I was like, I'm not fully confident that I'm not going to pass out here. I felt like I got a trank dart in the neck.
I know.
It was like weird. When we got home, we were just dead to the world. That's what happens when you don't eat at all. And then when you first eat, you're like having a cocktail, even though it wasn't very many, obviously. But I'm glad we got a little, we did something in there and got some kind of rest. So, first of all, I want to congratulate Catherine Clark, U.S. Representative of Massachusetts. Congratulations. Catherine Clark's daughter or son or trans kid or whatever is
her non-binary child Riley.
Is this the one?
Yeah, who
This is the
used
one
to go
who's-
by Jared.
Okay, so Jared, is that this one?
I
Yes.
remember my middle child waking up with nightmares over concern around climate change. I've had my family at a movie theater when the movie stopped, my children immediately felt there must be a shooter in the theater with us.
So he, she, they confused loser kid of Catherine Clark now is assaulting police officers
Who just graduated last year, by the way, from Middlebury College,
in Vermont.
which costs $70K a year to go to.
I'm not surprised whatsoever. And this useless loser kid has been arrested for either assaulting cops or defacing Parkman Bandstand at Boston Common as part of Antifa. You know what's so funny? Do you not realize that when you've got a kid, so this kid is a he, right?
Was originally, yeah. Now they're a they.
It's still a he. But are you not, when you have a kid who is scared when the movie stops that they're going to get shot and has nightmares over climate change, don't you realize that this one's, that batch of cookies is ruined? You should have just shot the kid over to an orphanage like years ago. I mean, okay, I see that our batch of loser is done. I mean, it's over. You're a loser. And then of course now it's like as if I can't like show mom. Oh yeah, mom. Oh yeah, mom. You want to affirm me in all my really interesting pronoun sexuality stuff going on, and you want to affirm me in my nightmares about climate change, and you want to affirm me in my afraid of getting shot in the movie theater. Well, guess what? Now I'm in Antifa. See. It's really, I really think.
So here's the incident report. At about 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, officers assigned to District A1 responded to a call for a protest at the Parkman Bandstand Monument located within the Boston Common. Upon arrival, officers observed an individual defacing the monument with spray paint. The tagging read, "No Cop City," and ACAB, ACAB. The suspect was identified as Jared Dowell, 23, of Melrose, who, of course, is now Riley Dowell. During the arrest of Jared Dowell, a group of about 20 protesters began to surround officers while screaming profanities through megaphones on the public street, causing traffic to come to a standstill. While interfering with the arrest of Jared Dowell, an officer was hit in the face and could be seen bleeding from the nose and mouth.
An officer was?
Yeah.
Jared Dowell needs to be prosecuted for every bit of that.
Jared Dowell was placed under arrest and charged with assault by means of a dangerous weapon, destruction or injury of personal property, damage of property by graffiti, tagging. Dowell is expected to be arraigned in Boston Municipal Court. And then a little later, around 10:30, they arrested somebody else, Andrea Coletti, 27, of Brighton, who attempted to flee on foot and was apprehended. After a brief struggle, she was placed under arrest and charged with damage of property and resisting arrest. She's expected to be arraigned in Boston Municipal Court. So I don't really get what they were protesting. I know some stuff was going on in Atlanta, too, over some police training thing. But, like, nothing there's no new, like, police shooting down black people in the street or something. Why are we doing ACAB right now? Did I miss it? I feel like I missed a news item here or something. Like, why are they writing this all over the bandstand in Boston?
I don't know what the occasion is. I have no idea.
I was trying to figure out, like, why what are we doing? Where's the fascism that they're protesting against?
I don't know, but there was this police unit in Boston that I think they got rid of, disbanded in the 1970s. That was, I think they were mounted, but they also walked, and they had billy clubs. They were a special unit, considered quite a harsh unit, and they used to feast upon hippies mainly, and I'm just saying that I don't believe that there should be police brutality at all. That said, you want to take out the. You want the
rich kids of congressmen.
That's fine. You want to beat somebody's ass, you can start right there. Just imagine this. What does the 23-year-old very interesting person do? What is his occupation?
I believe last time I checked, I think their Facebook is nuked. I was trying to look. I believe they're some kind of like musician.
Excellent. Hey, yeah, if you're from Boston and you remember what that police unit was called.
Because here, so this was back in last May, when Riley was graduating, celebrating Riley. Riley, of course, is wearing a rainbow thing on their graduation robe. We also got to see a performance of Riley's original jazz competition. That was amazing. So, yeah.
So not only does Riley play jazz, but it's Riley's original jazz.
Original jazz composition.
Oh, that must be good. That must be good. What is Riley's last name again?
Dowell.
How do you spell Dowell?
Dowell.
How do you spell Riley?
Riley. But Riley is Jared in all the arrest reporting.
R-I what?
Riley.
Oh, okay. So Riley is Jared.
In the arrest reporting, it's all Jared Riley. I guess Riley's paperwork isn't done or whatever.
Oh, I see. Jared. That is cruel to poor little Riley.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and all the reporting has been like Catherine Clark's son, this and that. And Catherine Clark tweeted out a little while ago. And why don't I thought I sent it to us. But yeah. There it is. Catherine Clark tweeted, "Last night, my daughter was arrested in Boston, Massachusetts."
Her what?
Daughter was arrested.
Isn't Riley a boy?
Was a boy.
Oh, okay. It was now then unborn, went back in the womb, and is reborn now. Is now a...
Mm-hmm. Last night, my daughter was arrested in Boston, Massachusetts. I love Riley.
Daughter. Can you imagine we're playing these games?
I love Riley, and this is a very difficult time in the cycle of joy and pain in parenting. This will be evaluated by the... Why are you looking at me like that?
The cycle of joy and pain?
Yes.
Holy
This is
hell.
a very difficult time in the cycle of joy and pain in parenting. This will be evaluated by the legal system, and I am confident in that process.
Is that anything like my apologies to the Boston Police Department for Riley being part of an assault on a cop who was hospitalized? No? Cycle of joy and pain. Holy hell. What a total mess. What a total mess. Anyway, just a couple of takeaways. Everything is stupid is the point of this show. It's unfortunately it shouldn't have to be, but it is. We were listening to some of the Sunday shows. The word of the day, Alice. The word of the week. There's something new. There's a new kind of crime, but it's not even a crime. Just like anti-racism is a reverse of racism. This is an anti-crime event that takes place called what?
A consensual FBI search.
Exactly. It is to be lauded. Consent. For the last month, President Biden has been consenting. That's what President Trump has been found to have had documents that he stole from the White House. Biden's been consenting, even though they found documents from him from the Senate and from the White House. So he doesn't have the right to take any of these things, but that's fine. He's been consenting. Consensual. That's all we're hearing anywhere is how consensual Biden's. It was ridiculous. They couldn't stop. They just couldn't stop it, and it's marvelous. And then basically it was.
I love when everybody downloads a new word like in one weekend. It happens a lot like over the weekend, and like everybody does it all on the Sunday shows.
Here's Chris Coons, but yes, everybody does it exactly. That's exactly right. A lot of it starts like right when the minority leader, which now I guess would be Catherine Clark, right?
She's a minority whip.
Okay, so who's the minority leader now?
Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay, so usually has their press conference on a Wednesday, I think, and they get the ball rolling for the new talking points. This is how we speak now.
But how can he
Chris
say
Coons
he
with
takes
Martha Raddatz on ABC?
classified material
Chris Coons, remind you, is the guy who filled Biden's seat in Delaware.
seriously when some of what was found may have been in his home for more than a decade, and he seemingly had no idea?
Well, the important point there, Martha, is that he had no idea. As you know, if you're serving in the Senate or as vice president or president, you literally get millions of documents coming through your office week in and week out.
Well, by the way, what's the question she should ask right then? What's the question to ask right then that creates a instant situation?
Ask if he has documents
Exactly.
in his house?
Exactly. Well, do you have any at your house?
Maybe you should have the
No.
FBI over consensually just to double check for you.
Exactly.
And as you get more senior and as the matters that you're handling are more important and occasionally more classified, the volume gets
Why is it
higher.
skipping
So
like that?
It's
I
just
do think
whatever.
this was inadvertent. The whole point of having a special counsel is to ensure that and to give the American people confidence in that. But frankly, Martha, I also don't think this is an issue that's keeping Americans up at night.
But how can he say
It's not an issue. I love that. I don't think this is an issue that's keeping Americans up at night. Is very Clintonian. I have to do the business of the American people. I don't have time to trifle with this Ms. Lewinsky stuff.
Well, it's also
wonderful.
absurd because they've been trying to get us to care about Trump and his stupid classified documents and telling us that that matters to Americans way more than inflation or anything else does for months.
It's the very national security of this country. Here's a Biden White House spokesman with MSNBC. This is Ian Sams, the new one.
Can you give us a sense of how many classified documents we are now talking about total across all three locations?
Sure, it's a good question. And actually, the answer to it is a little bit complicated because of this point that I'm making about the integrity of an ongoing Justice Department investigation. The Justice Department is going to be looking at all sorts of questions like that throughout their investigation. We want to be very, very careful to be respectful of the integrity of that investigation, to not speak too much about the underlying contents and materials, especially things that we may not know all the answers to.
That's the tack they're taking, is that we're really cooperative. This is really consensual. We're working with the Justice Department. Yeah.
That's the way it usually is when the
As a matter of
FBI
fact-
when the FBI's rifling through your house looking for stuff. That's usually the way why it is you're just in a collaborative
Yes.
effort to try and work things out for the best.
When I was 23, I found myself on the side of the road having a chat with the police, Alice, as to whether or not I had had a cocktail that night. The thing that happened that night was not my consensual interaction with the cops. There was a bit of a bigger headline from that evening, as a matter of fact, Alice.
Yeah, well, it sounds like maybe you were a little more consensual. You consented a little more than Riley did down in Boston Common on Saturday night. But
That's right. But you know what, Alice? You know what that night wasn't for me?
what wasn't it?
It wasn't a, I remember my dad saying that after I got my DUI in Vermont, which is really an unforced error, some story that I should tell at some point, is that my dad said to me, Tom, this is just part of the cycle of joy and pain.
Of parenting.
He
It's,
said-
it's a difficult part of that cycle, but
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that what he said?
That is not what he said. That is not what he said. No way. Oh, man, no. He said, no, it is not. It was something like, God damn, Tommy. He was not pleased whatsoever. He hooked me up with a lawyer who said, yeah, Tom, I remember the lawyer being so, nonplussed. Yeah, I see. So you took a roadside breathalyzer? Am I to understand that? And I said, yeah. He said, okay, before we go any further, why don't you stroke a check for $500 and send it right over? And that was it. 3 weeks later, I sent
Morgan says you had to try hard to get a DUI in Vermont back then.
Actually, Morgan, you'll appreciate this because you know where we were heading is that place in Barrie. This was after my dad's 60th birthday. Do you want to hear the story? Do you want to hear?
Let's hear the story.
Do you know the story?
Yes.
This is a remarkable story. So me and a relative of mine were together at my dad's 60th birthday in Montpelier, Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And we had driven up to Vermont from Boston, and I was tired and whatever, but it was my dad's 60th birthday. For my dad's 60th birthday, we had they brought in him and his Montpelier friends. They brought in a bartender, which to me, being a 23-year-old, was the greatest thing on earth. Oh my God, there's a bar in my dad's living room and a bartender there. So we were thrilled, and the person I was with, who will not be mentioned, my relative, was, having a couple of drinks because the bartender, we had our own bartender. You have your own bartender. It's like, I had never seen that. That was like, this is incredible.
That's like what our kids think when they have their own popcorn making machine, basically.
Oh yeah, and this is
They're
like
we can
incredible.
make all the
There was
popcorn we
caterers
want.
walking by with little finger things and stuff like this, and this, and I think it was and it was just incredible. And so the guy I was with, who was driving, he was having a few cocktails, enjoying because we were both giddy that this was happening. And I started to as well, but then I tapered off because I just didn't feel good. The drive wore me out from being up there. I was like, it's just not taking. But if you want to, we can go down into wherever. We decided that we'd go down into Barrie to that place and check out that place and a couple other places, and maybe we'd meet some ladies. So that was our idea. So we decided that I would be the designated driver because I had stopped drinking and I wasn't plastered. I was not.
Right.
In fact, I was fine. And so
Morgan wants to know if your lawyer was Paul Jarvis.
I don't even remember. He was an old guy then, or older. He was probably about 60 then, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But I'll try to find out. But I'd never met him until that. My dad just gave me his name and this. So we go. So we're driving, and so this is at a time. This is at a time when I was not wearing glasses full time. I didn't have glasses like I have glasses somewhere here that I wear to see distance. I wasn't sure how bad my eyes were. I knew they weren't great because I would try other people's glasses on at these bars, like at the Red Hat, and see that all these women I thought were gorgeous without glasses, when I put the glasses on, were no longer gorgeous. I was like, oh my God, this is reality. It's different. So I knew I needed it, but I didn't have glasses. So I didn't have my glasses on. So we're driving on the on-ramp to get from Montpelier to Barrie. You probably know where this is, to get to 89, I think. And up the on-ramp, there's cops on the side of the road. There's some kind of construction going on over there. and one of the cops is standing out in the road on the side of it, waving his flashlight. So I think as I'm driving, I'm like, wait, is this guy waving me over, telling me to pull over? I assume I've never seen somebody wave a flashlight at me. That doesn't make. Oh, it's like I'm not a 747 like at LaGuardia. What are you doing? So I pull over. The cop walks up to the car and says, "Why'd you pull over?" I said, weren't you waving me over? And he said, "No, I was telling you to keep going." I said, "Who tells you to keep going?" I didn't say that to him. I was like, "Well, who tells you to keep going?" So he says, "That's interesting. Can I see your license and registration?" I show him the stuff. He's intrigued, of course, because I get mass plates and a mass license. He's like, "All right, maybe I get a live one here." Meanwhile, the person I'm with is like not fully, doesn't have his act together. Is like, wasn't belligerent, but
would not have been able to drive.
Correct.
Okay.
Most obviously correct. So the cop says, "All right, do you mind stepping out of the car?" I'm like, I figured this is like pro forma crud and whatever. I had done this plenty of times in my youth, taking road tests and like this, in times when I probably should have been apprehended, So I'm like, whatever. But I didn't. I knew that I wasn't drunk, so I knew this would just be a matter of time. And the guy said, "All right, Tom, do you mind taking a breathalyzer test?" And he says, "Oh, where are you from, Medford?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, yeah. I used to work in Davis Square in Somerville." So I'm like, "Oh, wait, so I can talk to this guy about stuff." We talked about Davis Square and whatever. This cop, and he said, "Oh, I just need you to take the road test." And I took the road test, and he says, "Okay. Tom, do you mind just blowing into this, taking a breathalyzer?" And I said, "No, I'll take a breathalyzer." I was actually like intrigued. It's like, this is cool. I've never seen So it's this little he takes out this little disposable straw thing, puts it in the thing, and I take my breathalyzer, blow the breathalyzer thing, and he's like, "All right, Tom, we're going to, when he goes back to his cruiser, and I'm just waiting there, he's like, "All right, Tom, I'm going to have to take you in and cite you for driving under the influence because you have whatever, it was a real low number, whatever." And I said, "Really? Oh, are you sure?" And I didn't even believe it. And then at this point, the other person in the car tried to convince the officers that he should drive, and the officer said, "Okay, we'll give you a roadside test." That did not go well. So then the cops say, "Okay, you're gonna come in the cruiser. That car stays right there. You can pick it up. We're gonna process you, and you can pick that car up tomorrow. And that car stays right there." And so I say, "Okay." They take us down to the station. I get booked. Picture.
Fingerprints.
The whole thing. But I was still like, there's no way. I mean, there's no way he's actually gonna hit me. I've been talking to this guy. It's like there's no. This is like BS. Sorry. So then so I'm sitting in the station or whatever, and I was like, wow, I wonder if I was thinking like it would be cool to get that headshot, that mugshot, But I'm waiting for the cop, and he's like, "Okay, Tom, just so you know," and then he comes over, and the cop.
I'm sure it's a public record. I'm sure somebody who wants to put the time in can go find it.
And then the cop reads me my rights. And I'm like, wait a second. This sounds
I'm
a lot like...
actually being
this sounds
arrested.
like a lot like an arrest. You must have me mistaken. We were just bonding over Davis Square and Central Square in Cambridge. But he reads me my rights, and he says, "Okay, so we're going to keep you for a while. We're going to give you a court appearance, whatever. This is what we'll do. We're going to...
Which jurisdiction arrested you? Was this like Vermont State Troopers, or was it like a town up there?
I think it was Barrie Police. Or Montpelier Police. I forgot. It's funny. I may have some of the paperwork around anymore. It's a long time ago. So, and I sent a bunch of it off to some lawyer who was like, "Hey, why'd you send me this? Do you think you can broom this?" Anyway, so anyway, the cops say, "Okay, so we're going to let you go. That car stays impounded on the side of the road tonight. You can get it tomorrow." They said, "Oh, you know what we'll do? We can send you in a cruiser if you guys want. You understand your dad's birthday. We'll send you up in a cruiser to your dad's house. You can get out there and, sleep, and then in the morning you can grab your car." And we say, "Okay, fine." They drive us up to my dad's house in Montpelier. Murray Hill Road, if you must know. I don't know why there's so many Murray Hill roads. And... They drop us off there. The cop leaves, and the person I'm with and me say, "You know what? It really would be a crappy thing to disturb my dad on his 60th birthday. And say, we have to crash here tonight, Dad, because I just got a DUI on your birthday. Sorry, you'll see it in the police log. You know. So we decide that we'll walk back to the car, take the car, and go back up to where our other house is in the north, near St. Johnsbury. So we walk, me and my brother, me and nobody in particular, walking.
You're so bad.
Damn it, Alice! Gotta mark that. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's live, isn't it? Doesn't matter. Anyway, he wasn't in trouble. So we walk, and it's miles, and we walk down near the river and down like where you get it, like you get a Coca-Cola and this and that, probably got a roast beef sub from an overnight place that was open, all the way back up to the car, We get in the car and just throw it into gear, get on the highway, and almost immediately get pulled over by a cop again. The car's blue lights behind me almost immediately. And then it was on. And then I was like
At which point did you realize you were actually in trouble?
Well, after that happened, I was like, I either have to find a way to end my life here in this car. I either have to go for his gun and just live my life in the Lamb if I can somehow take him down, or throw myself in the mercy of the court. And when the officer comes up and he pulls up, he says, "Okay, guys, this might have been a different. I don't remember." But he goes, "License and registration." And I give him my license and registration. And he's like, "Okay, what are you doing here? And what are you what were you doing? Driving?" And I said, "Oh, sir, can I talk to you? I need to talk to you for a second. I need to have it." And I begged him. I said, I need your help here. Here's a problem. My dad at his birthday, this and that, et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't want to do this, etc. I didn't want to get in trouble, and so I got arrested tonight already once, and so
it's always a good.
I begged this guy, and just told him about what had happened, and he must have just seen the patheticness in my heart, and if I can remember it right, he said, "Okay, listen." I assumed that they were like, we're gonna now have to really prosecute this guy? We don't have a full-time DA in Vermont. We're gonna have to get one for this fat idiot because he can't not drive on the streets. So he said something like, and I think this is right, something like, get out of the car. You guys can wait here for 5 hours or something. Then you can get in the car and go. He let us go. I'm pretty sure that's how it. And the person who was with me may remember that part. But so that was that. So eventually, we had to hang out and just sit there and buy the car and wave to people as they're driving by. But yes, then I went in, and actually my $500 plus for the lawyer, which ended up being $700 altogether. You know what it gets you? When I went to find a court date back in Barrie, it was Barrie, it wasn't Montpelier. In the court, what it gets you is they put me on the front of the docket. So it was a whole bunch of stoners were being arrested. Or was I? Yes, that's right. And so they brought me in front of the judge first because I had a lawyer. So
they wanted to deal with that first thing in the morning. And
no, they're like, this wasn't first thing in the morning. This is when I
get it out of the way.
This is being litigated in front of a judge.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, all these stoners didn't bother having lawyers or whatever, and we'll just have this kid because the lawyer and the judge probably golfed together. It's we'll process this idiot. And I gave a nice speech to the judge. It was very, very good speech. And he said,
remorseful?
Morrisville?
Remorseful?
Oh. I thought you were getting information from Morgan real time that the judge is from Morrisville. Possible.
No.
Oh, it was remorseful. I had said everything he wanted to hear. My dad was very pleased. This is eventually get down the line. My dad was very pleased when we had breakfast and this and that. And then, of course, I thought, and then I lived in Beacon Hill at the time in Massachusetts, and so I thought, you know what? I don't really have to. They said you have to go up to Vermont to take these classes. I can be a better person classes, and it takes a week or a weekend. I was like, I don't want to go to Vermont to do this crap. And then I found out for some people, I think from the hotel where I worked at, and said, all you have to do is wait 7 years. It clears off your record. And I thought, really? 7 years? So let's see. This is 96 or whatever, 2003. I live in Beacon Hill. I don't need a car anyway. So I waited my 7 years, and it doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
You have to they do everything. So they started like 7 years later. Like, yeah, we are you seriously coming into the R&B asking for a license? Do you see what this says?
Morgan says they call Morrisville Mo Vegas.
Oh, really? Wow, what is this Morristown crap, by the way?
I know. We actually know people in Vermont who attempted moving to Morrisville for a while, but couldn't because they found city life too stressful.
Yeah. Well, for up that area, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much. Although Hardwick does have its, little moments.
Yeah. They also want to move out of Hardwick for that same reason. But, I mean,
I don't know. Well, let me tell you one thing. There's a force of mind that you can use, and I can say this story because I think it's safe. Because I would just say that there was another time that I was up in Vermont. This time I was with my brother.
okay.
And I forgot what we had done. We were in Stowe or something, but we weren't drunk. But we had been out, but we were fine. We were just trying to get back to Hardwick at this time, and it was a really, really excellent show of force by my brother. Cop pulls us over. The cops used to be all over Hardwick at that time. Now there's like one cop works like 6 hours a day. I think you can. So this is like 2004 or something. Cop pulls us over. Says to my brother, license registration, and the cop says, "All right, yeah, I just need you to step out of the car. I just want to do a quick sobriety test for you." And my brother said something like, "No, we're all set. I'm good. I'm not doing that. I'm going home." And the cop said, "Okay, sir." Gave him his stuff back, and we were off. I was like, wow, that was a good moment. He wasn't drunk anyway. He was fine, but. So anyway, that brings us to, why am I talking about this? Because 20 minutes ago we were talking about Biden. Oh, courts and my DUI. That's right. That's right. By the way, it's not a DUI, much like George W. Bush.
And consensual searches.
That's right.
Other forms of police
You
interactions.
were very consenting. One side and down the other. And this cop, you should have seen. You want to do a breathalyzer? Absolutely. Want to do the street test? Absolutely. Want to come take me in? Absolutely. You want to take my picture? Let's take pictures. I was all about it. I was the most consensual person in the world. I consented. So yeah,
if only that worked for regular people, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And so this is what we've got. Is that they're all about, this is consensual. It's
okay to take the classified documents as long as you let the FBI in to look for them later.
Yeah, as long as you're, as long as you offer them biscotti and or in somewhere to sit comfortably. Then it's fine.
It is like such a sinister thing too, because that's how they get people. And the right has this problem where a lot of times the right tends to be less skeptical of law enforcement than the left is. And that got a lot of the January 6th people. Like, if they had never talked to the FBI when they came knocking, but a lot of them did because they thought, I didn't really do anything wrong. Like,
yeah, they wanted to help. Yeah. That's the same thing with the Michael Flynn stuff.
Yeah, and it's like the stuff that essentially it is like you, Mr. Consensual, at the side of the road.
I should have remembered that.
At the side of the road in Vermont, because people think they're like being good and helping the nice police.
You're totally right. But hold on, Alice. Let me tell you. Let me finish your point for you in a sense, because you should have seen this police report. The most damning effing thing I've ever seen. It was this obviously it was this boilerplate report. Oh, swaying, slurring, unsteady, unstable, eyes glassy, belligerent. It was like, oh, what is this? This is not me. This is like what interaction was possibly this? That seemed like, are you sure they didn't mix up with the Antonio Brown's police interaction? But that's how it works. That's how those police reports are damning. I was shocked when I saw the thing. I was, this really hurts my feelings. This did not happen. It didn't happen. But that's right.
I was really nice.
Yeah, not the same like with the feds, with Michael Flynn and all those people. Even with Trump, they're like, Mr. Trump, we want to have a conversation with you. Trump never realizing that he's being investigated. It's not a conversation with you; it's a conversation of you that you're consenting to.
Right, and I think that sort of the propaganda aspect of this, like, well, Biden is consensual. That we're supposed to believe this narrative that even if you made a mistake with the classified documents, if you're just nice and consent to the FBI coming to your house, it'll all be fine, because they totally get that you were just overwhelmed and you had like so many documents, it was hard to keep track. And, you know, they get that. They're nice. Like, it's part of it is the fact that they want us to believe that the Biden thing is somehow different because of this consensual. Like, that is obviously just their, you know, pure spin.
Oh, of course.
But then also there's this weird sinister propaganda aspect to this too, where they're trying to reinforce this message that, like, even if you like make a stupid mistake, like if you just let the police walk all over you, then it'll be fine. Like, there's also like weird subliminal messaging to that everybody knows, particularly the left knows. So you know that they're just doing this cynically, but everyone knows that it doesn't work that way in real life for regular people. Right. Tom Shattuck shooting the breeze about Davis Square and being a nice guy to the cops and agreeing to do everything they say doesn't win you any points actually at all. It's actually the opposite. That cooperating with the police, it actually screws you. Like 99% of the time.
Right. Had my lawyer been in the back seat, it would have been a very different situation.
Yeah.
A very different situation. And there would have been still consenting happening. And the officers and the lawyer working with the officers.
Mm-hmm.
It just, all the incriminating stuff wouldn't have been happening. But at the end of the day, I mean, here's, like, Biden's lawyers, this is all, if Biden's lawyers could have said something to have the feds F off and stop pursuing, they would have. They were out of options. They're busted. This was what this is. This is all post-mortem. They are busted with stuff, and they keep getting busted-er. And so it could be consensual as far as they want to say, but he's got stuff from 15 years ago. Could be stuff from 30 years ago. Could be stuff from 40 years ago. Stuff as a senator. Stuff as VP. The stuff as VP, he's got no right to have any of it whatsoever.
Right.
So, like, yeah, he's consensual after not disclosing a lot of the stuff initially. And apparently, according to today, once the feds walked in there, they found more new stuff.
Right.
It's remarkable.
In the consensual search.
Right. So this is absolute BS. Where beforehand, it was just his lawyers who were dealing, Biden's personal lawyers. This isn't like a White House counsel or anything. This is like his personal lawyers. These are all fixers. These are all Michael, who's Trump's guy? Michael Cohen. Yeah. These are all that guy. So, I mean, if you don't think there's something shady here, there absolutely is. I don't know. I mean, that's not even in the universe of, like, what's in the documents, because I don't know what's in the documents. I'm intrigued. But like, the crime has happened. The process is shady.
Well, and it's funny because everyone went on and on about how, like, Trump was probably selling all this nuclear information to our enemies or whatever. Like, he's selling it at Mar-a-Lago. Which there's zero evidence he was trying to show anybody any of this stuff. But, like, Biden's family actually does have as their entire family's business model making money off of his political connections.
Yes.
So there actually is, with Biden, a risk of that.
Oh, right. And
Like,
when Biden
that's
says
a real
yesterday,
thing
like,
that
when
Biden's whole family does.
Yes.
That's the only way anybody in his entire family makes any money. So the fact that he has classified documents actually is like a concern that he would have showed them to somebody. Unlike Trump, I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I don't think Trump is like a selling access to stuff kind of guy. Like, it's not selling access.
I don't think I think Trump knows that people are coming after him constantly. I don't think I don't think Trump wants to go to jail. And I don't think he's wanted to go to jail ever. And I think his dad said, Donnie, if you're going to be a loud a-hole, people are going to be gunning for you. So make sure that you're absolutely clean as hell. Here's a little news wrap with Biden. It's a nice, it's just kind of, it's a good quote or two from Biden in this.
No regrets. That's what U.S. President Joe Biden said on Thursday.
No regrets is an odd thing to say. No regrets. Wow, it's kind of final. Kind of means that you realize you're being taken down, but you're not going to say sorry for it because you know it's all a political hit and you're not going to be contrite.
Thursday about his handling of classified documents found at his home and former office.
We immediately turned them over to the archives and the Justice Department. We're fully cooperating and looking forward to getting this resolved quickly. I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets.
Attorney General Merrick Garland last week named a special counsel to investigate the matter.
And Biden said, there's no there. That is That's not good. That's not good. I've heard there's no there before, and it never comes on the heels of anything good. It just doesn't. Oh, is this Catherine Clark audio right here? Did she mention this?
But they've also given us a model to become our own leaders. And let me tell you what it means.
No, that's all it is. It's not to do with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't do anything.
So no, it was me. I just wanted to see. So what else we got?
I think we should head to the Chelsea Fire Wicked hotline and then do the rest of our show on the Patreon show.
All right, bro. Hold on. Man, that food was good today. Damn,
yeah,
it
really
good.
was. It really was great.
I saw astronaut Buzz Aldrin, who is 93 years old, got married on his birthday to a much younger lady, 63 years old. She's a complete fox. I checked out the pictures of her. Wow. Good job, Buzz. But who knows how much longer you got, though. So, anyway, congrats.
You think I outlive Buzz or no?
Yeah, I think you will.
I don't like my chances.
I think you will.
I don't like my chances.
I needed some time off from work, so I decided to act crazy. I hung upside down from the ceiling, and when the boss asked me what I was doing, I said, "I'm a light bulb." "You're crazy," he said. "Take a few days off." I left, and my office mate followed me. The boss asked where she was going. She said, "I can't work in the dark." I don't know. What do you think? Any good?
Maybe over in the
All right.
Patreon show, you'll tell your joke.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
No, Phil,
and keep up the great work. You guys are phenomenal. See ya.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Phil. I
Phil.
appreciate that. I appreciate your kind words. And that is good, like grade A bad joke stuff right there. But today's been a day full of bad jokes. A day full of bad jokes, including one I got from a 12-year-old friend of my daughter, which is I thought good. But I had a great bad joke. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll
So we
get to that
had
on
a
Patreon.
Yes. Well, then we can say it tomorrow too, because I don't want to deprive everybody. Do I? No. You know what? Yes, we're gonna value our Patreon friends.
Yeah, they get your joke.
Amateur acting troupe come to this elementary where I work at, and they put on a Shakespearean play called Othello.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, Tom or Alice, but Shakespeare's never done it for me.
Shakespeare sucks. He's not good at plays. He's not good at writing. His stories aren't great. It's absolute horse bleep. It's rubbish.
No, Shakespeare
Terrible.
is fantastic.
No, it's for pretentious people to pretend that they're understanding what the hell is going on with them. Oh my
Maybe
goodness.
some of us can read the words and understand.
How
what they mean.
out of the slings and arrows and goodness. What is it? To be or not to be? That the threads of outrageous fortune. Oh God, you're awful.
No, Shakespeare is great.
Add him
I
to the
love
list of
Shakespeare.
people who I want to
Literally
see dead.
can't get enough of it. Tom, of course, amateur theater and Shakespeare in one sentence for Tom is
rubbish. Actually, I heard. What did I hear? Somebody talking about over the weekend. Oh, watching the Phantom of the Opera. Andrew Lloyd Webber. He sucks too. Anything by him is terrible. Terrible. I went through right around the time I was getting illegally cited for impaired driving in Vermont. I had a girlfriend, and I was going to a bunch of Andrew Lloyd Webber things. Awful, rubbish.
As our kids get older and like leave us and whatever, I'm definitely gonna get into going to the opera.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks.
Can't wait. I'm really excited for that. Anyway, that's something I've always wanted to do.
Oh.
But
I like salami.
They are real. Okay.
Horrifies me. Horrifies me.
Stop. You can join us on the other side. Patreon listeners, don't go away. We're going to do the Patreon show. You can find that at patreon.com/burnbarrel. Of course, the main show is always free at burnbarrelpodcast.com.
Why is it still going? Didn't they kill it?